G'day everybody. I want to talk about the World Central Kitchen and all the great work they do over there and the bravery they have. And I also want to talk about how people, and bad people should I say, try to stop things like that. Now war is war. It has no rules, really. We have these world rules for war, but they're not really. They're just up to our discretion, as we can say. Like a police officer going, I just got to call my sergeant to see if I should do a certain thing, right? And then they make their decision. It's up to their discretion, right? And so, war is war. Anything can happen. But in war, we see who the bad guy is. And we all get together as we've had throughout wars around the world, right? Definitely in World War II and One, and so on, where more countries get together because they realise who the bad guy is, right? Or they realise who they want to be like, and don't want to have a country become dominant because they get one country and next country they don't want to be like that one. Then they're like, ooh, that's no good because they'll soon come and get us. And so, what do you do when you don't want people to help? People who give food. Right? And what you can do in war to stop this war strategy is if someone come to me and they said, "Sir, how can we stop this food from coming in? We want the country to starve. We're doing all these tricks, sir, so we can get our outcome, which is wipe them out. Because we've only shown these actions that we don't really care, and we only block and do this and do that." This is my opinion. If someone come to me and said this. And so what can we do, sir, to get our outcome that it looks like we're not doing anything? We're just doing what war people would do if they're the bad guys, we're not going to be too nice, right? But what else can we do in the background to make things worse for these people as people are helping them? So you can imagine you're the country attacking another country and all these other countries are coming them to the help. And this guy and yourself, you're like, because you're a bad guy. You're attacking them. And you did that because they attacked you. But you're a badder dude is how I call a bad guy, is a person that does way more and could stop. They've already got their revenge, but they just keep going. They get hooked. So I class them as a bad country, right? And so a lot of these countries that start wars always say that they were the victim. Right? But it depends on how you look at it, and over time, you get your answers. Right? So when it comes to Gaza and the best way to keep giving their people problems, as they've been having for a long time, is that you either get a terrorist attack, so someone rich could cause this problem. A lot of ways it can happen, but you get someone to send a missile or yourself. Right? Oop, there was a misfire. Right? And you know where you're hitting, because in war, you're meant to know where you're hitting. Definitely these days, we've got plenty of satellites, we've got plenty of people on the foot, we've got plenty of cameras, we've got plenty of information of plenty, definitely if you're a big army soldier, if you want to do your job right. So there's no excuse for your army to drop a bomb, right, without explaining exactly why it went down, without going, oh, it was a malfunction, kind of thing, what can we use on the top 10 excuse, right? Not saying they do this, but this is what you see if you sit down and watch the patterns throughout history and the stories that are being said. So you got to be very careful, because if you don't know history, you're easily bound to repeat it or someone to do it onto you, as you don't know that it's been done. You don't know the trick. Right? It's like magic kind of thing. You don't know the trick, it's magic, until you see how they do it, and then you're like, oh. Right? So when it comes to Gaza and you want to stop food from getting in and people going, I don't care what they think, I'm going in there to help them out, and if they bomb me, well, I'll become a part of the war, right? How would they like it if you were a person who was a good person that went in there to help, and they know that you type of people are in there, and then yet you get bombed because they're just pathetic? I just told you how they can find out information. There's no reason for anyone to get bombed there, is there? As far as I'm concerned, if they do their job right, there's no reason. But if they're slack, there's plenty of reason, you see? Plenty of reason. And if they're a trickster, there's even more reasons, as he will definitely do it and pull out the tricks. So you got to watch this. I'm not saying Israel's a trickster. I'm not saying they're trying to keep the food people out either. But when that accident happened, now they'll be in fear about going in there to help, wouldn't they? So how do you stop that? You make sure that those accidents never happen. Ever. And when they do, there's massive consequences. So don't bomb where you know there'll be people there helping people. And how do we show this point to these countries, people? How do you do that? I've got a few ways you could do it. But I want to know, how would you do it? Would you just give up and go, oh, you better not go in there now, you might just get bombed? That's just war. You know, in war, people get bombed. You know, they expect that, right? But they also expected they get bombed, that people will respect them, not only that they died in war, is it, why did they die? How much evil was around? They show how much evil's around as well, people. So what do we see? Of course, an investigation's happening. And the more we can find this and investigate this and make sure this, give them the hardest punishment. Right? So the punishment they would have got if they got caught after war from bombing a normal building, right, with just normal, as you can call it, civilians, right? They're not there to, didn't have to be there, they're there to help, so they're extra special, you know, people that put themselves in harm's ways. There's not many of them. That's why there's a lot of problems. That if they get bombed, there's going to be serious consequences. Like police say, we get shot, we extra investigate, we extra put in money. As we also need to show you use a point of what happens when you do that, because if we don't, well, then what happens? People will keep killing police officers. Bombs will keep getting sent. So you got to make sure you step up on things like that. Definitely these days, there's no excuse. In World War II, it was hard to get footages and stuff like that, and in previous wars, but lately we're getting more and more. People should be allowed to film away for things like that around war areas. If you hear about people going, oh, you shouldn't be filming this war going, no, you should be. What are you hiding? Whoever's doing wrong here is going to get caught. You see? Anyway, I'm going to leave it there, and hopefully it turns out good. Hopefully no one gets scared. That's my main worry about when the bad guys do things like this, when they bomb to try to do scare tactics, try to make things worse, and then you know when this happens, because they always go, oh, what happened? What? That was an accident? What? Huh? And they should know it's precise. They show us how cool they are and how they get footages and see people and know stuff. Why can't they have people on the ground? Back in the day, we used to have lasers and people on the ground before they bomb to tell them where they are, the laser pointer. So what's going on now? We upgrade and we downgrade. We upgrade as in we can get the bomb there and we can see it, but we downgrade about getting the information of actually what's going on around there. And that's the most important one. And back in the old days when they had to get closer to their lasers, at least they could find out more information. So maybe bring them back in technology to get them to do it more right. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there, people. Finish off with a burnout. They happen a lot around here. Now, Emma was just talking about walking down a path. Here's a bonus. Walking down a path up here, and it's dark. And from here to from the street is that park. It's not really a park, but it's a walkway, the old train track, and it's got some factories around and some grass around and some trees. So I call it a park area, right? Spare space. But along there, it's dark. There's no light. And so when a twiggling tree got cut down, besides putting a memorial there a little bit until I made a better one, and things like that, I decided to have a light, and I was going to put lights down the side, and I noticed someone else put some birds up there, metal birds. This was a good thing, because it helps bring up light around the area, also then to recognise that there's something there at night. Right? That's why I put light around my thing, to help show that there was something placed there. Right? Not come and get me thieves, come and destroy me, come and be a prick. Because when we have things like that and people do things like that, you know what makes a safe town, and you know you're in a safe town? When someone can do that, and if it gets destroyed, you could go, the town would make sure they help you, and you could go back, or you can say it to the police and they'll help you out, and you go back and you put something else there and you put a camera there. You just make sure it don't happen again. You've got to prove to your town that your town is a safe spot. Definitely, it's not going to happen twice. Right? That's what I try to explain in videos as they happen. And I was hoping to get cameras and stuff like that, which I'm still going to do. But it's best to do that because you got to find out who the thieves are. And I'm talking now, even give more warning. And I was even talking to them, they might not know about my channel. Right? It might even be another new thief, right? But what you do is you definitely, if you know it's already been damaged, is you got to set up some sort of camera system, some sort of stake, so it doesn't happen again. And then show that you're in a safe town, because if people can't go out and do memorials on stories that they've had because they've been around there and they've made up a story and they're doing some spiritual stuff, they're showing a way of connecting back to nature and stuff like that. And then you have these things that happen where people, first the tree gets taken down, that's bad enough when you're just getting into it, and then you do a memorial and then that gets destroyed. How do you think people feel? How do you think the story feels? Right? I can imagine if anyone else did that, how they would feel, because I've been through it. It doesn't feel good. Right? It doesn't feel like the town is safe when it comes to thievery and respect. That's the worst. Right? And so I can set up my sting to get to this, because what ruins all these things is just a few. Right? Those few can make a lot of things not happen. And now I'm about to speak about some more. Because that happened, people didn't want to put more. Nothing's changed since I stopped. Right? But if that stayed there, I would have put down some more lights. Because people are willing to put in and to make their spot if it's willing to stay and be protected. But if there's no law system to protect things, then people will stop. People don't want to do it. And so now the government's just liable to put lights there, you see? But if the right things happen, and the right things do happen, and steps happen, we'd make sure we can get to a point where it's like that, because of these steps always happened. And then the bad guys realise, don't go over there, don't fuck with that. Right? That'll probably be a setup. Right? That's how they fixed certain streets and cities, is they put setup cars everywhere. And then after a while, people are like, oh, we don't want to steal so many cars now because they don't know if it's a setup. Put the crime right down. Definitely ones that will run in or with keys left in it. Huh? Bait car on the bait car show. Huh? But if you can prove, if the police and the mayor can prove that it's a safe town, that people can go put things out there and we can leave it, they'll hopefully stay forever, that we can prove we've got respect, because we teach in this town about respect. And if you do going to move something that's out there that's not yours, you always ring the council to find out, oh, this is getting old, can we move this, blah, 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 blah. It's respect. You've got a complaint with it, you ring the council. But anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Hope people sort of see my point of what I was trying to put out ages ago. I will try again another time. First don't succeed, try again. I was going to do it more with the memorial thing, but I have other things and other issues, and I just thought I'd pause that one for the moment, but I will get back to it. Have a good one, everybody, and see yous later. And the baby said bye too.